Hi, and today's video is a little different since, I wanted to do something that came from a different place than my creative nonsense, and, well, I just don't want to sugarcoat it a lot and just go straight to the point. I got the news about the death of the star of the Power Rangers and Jason David Frank, and I was struck by different reasons by it. One of them being that I liked the franchise. I was not exactly a high fan as others, but I had my good moments with it during my childhood. And the other reason it struck me is because the guy committed, suicide as the way he went. And I was also a fan of Robin Williams, who also went through the same thing. And I had my history with those issues as well. That's getting a little kind of personal, so I don't want to dig too much about it, but sometimes I think as a reflection on the situation that we should be more open to talk about these things, like not think like it's something that doesn't matter, that doesn't have any weight per se. That would be minimizing a real problem. Depression and anxiety can really break someone, and it's really hard to get out of that pit that keeps dragging you down. This man was an inspiration for many people, and in the martial artist community, as a fighter, as a hero for children in the series that really inspired a lot of them. He truly showed that some people could be heroes, not exactly like, you know, transforming into ones and fighting monsters, but he never denied that the world had monsters. There are monsters everywhere, but I don't think we ever count how many heroes we have around. Like, as I have seen, we people have grown to be apart more and more every day because sometimes we feel the fear of being hurt or being misunderstood or being on the wrong place, and that's completely valid. Yet I suggest that even with that fear, people try to get close to those who don't understand, try to open a dialogue. Even in the most crazy and irrational situations, sometimes people what they really need is a few words, a kind heart to be beside, and someone who says, "You're not alone in this." Even if they are not having the same issues, even if you think like, well, I'm not having the same problem, so I shouldn't step in, you should step in. That's the thing, you should step in. In these kinds of situations, in this specific matter, you should step in because loneliness only aggravates the situation. I believe that we're losing that human touch between ourselves. Like, we end up listing people as what they can offer to us and not thinking about as what can we offer to people sometimes. I've seen lots of people of my generation and even younger who just think like everything should be about how can we get things, how can we get people to get us things and such. And I'm worried sometimes. I'm worried that the world is changing and that we are avoiding the very nature of what humans are. We should be more connected. We should be more understandable of each other. And I don't mean in the very sensible way, like everything should be treated with the utmost respect and care. More like, even if sometimes could be disrespectful, even if sometimes it's a clash or a conflict. Conflict to me is not necessarily bad. That means ideas clashed. That means views clashed. Now, what happens after, that's important. Because after the conflict, what are you gonna do? You're gonna try to destroy the person who has a different view? or you're going to engage in a simple conversation like two reasonable people. Try to find common ground, maybe not, but you get to know someone. Even if it's a stranger on the bus or you're waiting for a turn at the dentist and you're speaking to someone, keep someone a smile one day. A little boy in the street tripped and fell. Let the guy he'll just stand up again. Keep some advice. Try to be sincere and honest with the people. Try to be true to yourself and true to the people around you. If we try to do those things to be more human, to be less of a profile in a machine, to be less of an image that we keep giving to each other, we can have so much more meaningful and true relations with each other to me. That's an idea I sometimes have because I don't like the the concept of that some people are bound to their image, are bound to what the other people see on them. And I feel like you're just caging yourself. It's okay if people have a positive view of you, but that view should not be you, at least not entirely. A person is a person. Doesn't matter on which glass you see it. For people who have suicidal tendencies or that pain, that loneliness, that despair, sometimes a simple gesture of kindness or knowing that the world around is not as dreadful and dangerous or destructive as we see each day in the news that always show evil things happening, that we have basically no control over our lives, like we are drowning in an endless sea without an island to step in and say, this is our safe space, this is where we are. And I don't mean safe space, like that very dumb thing like we just keep people with different views outside of this space so people feel comfortable. No, that's stupid and aggravating the problem. To me, the idea is that you should try to connect with people, clash with people if it needed, but go there and break those walls. Test the boundaries. You might not never find perfect people to be with. You might not never find perfect relations to be in, but the more you fall, the more you try, the more you fight against it. The more you keep trying and trying, either way you can. Can it be just relaxing your mind? Can it be just focusing on something different? Can it be even having a little project of yourself? Anything. Looking for the right person, looking for someone, trying to connect with people. Every action that you try to do with the purpose of finding that, that's a great, great success. Even if you fail, the fact that you're trying and facing it, that's a success. And you should praise yourself for doing that. You should keep trying. Because at least I can say for myself that if I ever find someone who has that same issue, that same feeling of loneliness and emptiness by my side, and it's fighting it, I'm covering his back. I'm giving my view and my help because I know what it feels. I know what it is, at least in my experience. It's never the same experience for everyone, but I know that. And this news of this wonderful man who inspired so many good things in people, just as Robin Williams and so many others who had to go through that. You don't see what's left of a person actually sometimes until they die, and that's so sad. It's like seeing the movie only completed, but you don't think about the work that has been put on that piece. You don't think about how someone came to create that, how you reach the result of the equation without looking at all the work before. It's difficult to not see things as the first view you have of them. as a first impression. I know it's difficult, but sometimes when you see behind it, you can find something incredible. And I see that, and I try to see that because I find it true in a lot of people, even the people that you could say they are idiots or freaks or even something like that. I have seen people who are very angry at everyone, but I see that they are really in pain inside, or I see people that are really into their own image and needs, so self-centered, but that's because sometimes they're vulnerable, like vulnerable to the idea of being vulnerable. Damn, I'm getting a little tongue twisted here, but the thing is, many people have their issues. You should, if you really have some interest and relevance in a person, you should try to go there, get near that person, and see what happens. See what a simple talk can bring. Maybe, I don't know. That's the thing, I don't know. And neither the people who have this problem have. They have the greatest amount of I have no freaking idea that you can imagine in those scenarios. But if you give them an example to start them to make the statistics of how good the world can be and increase the statistic, not only for them but for all the people around. That that's wonderful. Just small gestures, kindness, politeness, a little love for mankind. That's all it takes to sometimes make someone live another day. I know that. So many times you feel like you don't have a place to go or someone to be with, that you're facing this alone, and sometimes you feel like you're over exaggerating, like you're just creating ghosts where they are not, but these monsters are real and they are part of you. You don't know when they will go away or if they even will go away, but you gotta fight. You gotta keep fighting and trying to live with those monsters by your side because they are part of you. And even if it's something negative sometimes, some wonderful people can try to fight the negative and make it a positive. Never give up. Don't try. Just keep going. And know that even if I'm far apart, at least I will always try to do my part because I know that is. Because when you feel like that, you don't want anyone else to know what that is or fall in the same pit. It's like if you're on a road and the pit is in the middle of the road and you're at the bottom of it, you climb up just to extend your hands and become a bridge for others to cross the pit and not fall into it. Sometimes you miss, but you really try. That's all I'm thinking when I see these kinds of news of such wonderful people who had awesome lives that bring so much warmth to the hearts of others, inspiration, kindness, and in the end, they meet a fate like this because no one asks sometimes if you're feeling that way because it's a weird question to ask. Like, hey, are you thinking about this thing? And it's difficult to ask. You gotta check and to make sure that things don't escalate like that. You don't have to be bound to anyone, but be by their side the most you can. Show that you have interest in those people. because they need to know that if they go away, there are some people waiting for them. They need to know it and make it true for themselves. It's difficult to do, but it's part of what I think keeps some people there, knowing that there are some things, someone behind them, and they must not fall, because if they fall over them, over that they hold most dear. Suicide is a very difficult issue to talk about because there are so many views on it, so many studies and ideas about it. And even though I have my experiences and my feelings towards it due to my personal history, I feel compelled to try to give my best for the people that need it. I don't just go around and say it like that. Like, I try to minimize it. I try to tell it like it's something that it's in me, but it's not gonna rule over me. It's not gonna make me be something I'm not. I'm not gonna become a monster just because I have this. I will rise above it and fight them anytime they appear. It's tiring, it's exhausting sometimes, and it needs help sometimes. But about all the rambling I've been doing up to this point, I just want to say that rest in peace, the Green Ranger, the White Ranger, the Red Ranger, the Black Ranger. So many colors, so many appearances that just throughout that franchise made you believe that there were still heroes in the world, and no matter the age, they kept fighting. That's that's a wonderful message. Rest in peace, noble warrior. I hope this can help not only me but others who may have some situations like this, and I'm open to speak with anyone who needs it, because I know sometimes it's difficult to find someone to speak these kind of things. I'm willing to listen and to give a hand anytime that I can. So I will be working on the next chapter of my story, but the main focus today is this this uh, this news and my ideas about it, which I wanted to share because I felt it kind of compelled to share this. Because sometimes I feel like we need to share more with the people that we have around us. Not be afraid of what evil can someone bring, but be hopeful and trust that there is still kindness and love in the world. And if there is not much, we can make more. We can always make more. That's just my idea. Well, if I keep talking about it, it's gonna be a very long story, and I don't wanna go overboard. So, thanks for listening to everyone who sees and listens to me, and hope you the best from the bottom of my heart. I really hope you the best. Either if you're dealing with this or you're not, I got your back. If you need someone to fight alongside you, I'm there. Because no one deserves to fight alone when they need someone by their side. Thanks for everything. And see you next time. Sorry, it got a little emotional here.